day about 4 years ago. I was playing tennis.
We were on vacation as a family in Disney World.
Typical barbecue, I think it was Memorial Day weekend.
My son Jeremy was 7 months old.
One of our friends brought ground beef, we made burgers.
And I noticed that I had trouble getting to the ball.
Noticed a lacy red rash on his chest.
My wife called and said, you know, I got to take Owen to the hospital.
And I said, no, something's wrong today that has never been wrong before.
Parental instinct kicked in, and I knew something bigger was wrong.
He was sick.
And I knew that we couldn't wait another day for Jeremy to see a doctor.
Life kind of stops at the moment, and you know, you're dealing with what could be a life-threatening illness, you know, and doctors telling you, you know, this is reality, so start dealing with it.
And eventually they determined that what I had was polymyositis.
Hemolytic uremic syndrome, it's called. It's an acute disease that just comes, and basically it's this E. coli, the bad stuff.
They told me the name of the disease was hemophagocytic lymphohistiocytosis, and there was only a 20% chance of survival. For most people who take the test, the measurement will be somewhere between 0 and 347. And for me, the measurement was 9,464.
Well, he was losing blood because, you know, this disease keeps attacking, you know, what you do have, and you know, his kidneys were starting to shut down. This
was in fact his illness, and that they would need to start treatment immediately, or it was a very high chance that he would die.
It takes about 10,000 blood donors in order for me to get the treatment that I need, and this is 10,000 blood donors per month.
Without the successful bone marrow transplant, it was a certainty that the disease would come back and kill him.
What really stands out is the pain, is the suffering that people go through when they cannot receive a new supply of blood. Can't move, can't turn, they're crying, they're in pain, to the point of almost wanting to give up hope for life.
The Blood Center was founded in 1953 by members of the community that were concerned about having a stable blood supply for the hospitals in Bergen County. Over the years, and after 9/11, we really took off in terms of our growth. We started to serve more hospitals. We started to expand the services that we were involved in. We brought on the HLA Bone Marrow Registry, which is one of the world's largest bone marrow donor registries. In 1997, the Board of Trustees of the Blood Center authorized the development of a public cord blood banking program. These are life-saving stem cells that are predominantly used for the treatment of various malignancies and genetic disorders in children.
We always need blood. Not only for tragedies or for trauma patients or even for surgery, but we need the components of blood, platelets and red cells for cancer patients. We need stem cells. There's nothing like blood. There's no artificial blood. There's nothing that can substitute for a blood donor. And a blood donor saves at least 3 lives.
I've been a hematologist for nearly 50 years, I think, at this point. When I first started, there was very little we could do. The diagnosis of a leukemia lymphoma was a death sentence. The community has to understand that blood comes from a source, and the source are their neighbors, and that someone has to arrange and facilitate the transfer of the blood from their neighbors to themselves. They're going to need it at one point or another in their lives, and it has to be available when they need it. I take great satisfaction in being part of this over the years, and it amazes me when I teach the younger people who take it for granted. Well, we couldn't do this before. We couldn't transplant bone marrow from one individual to another. When I first started doing this in the 1960s, they told me and my colleagues we were crazy, that this couldn't be done. This is really something.
Community Blood Services is exactly that. It's in the community. This is not a nationwide organization. This is a community organization. We're here. We're not somewhere else.
This business of saving lives is very expensive.
In order to have a first-class blood collection, processing, distribution organization, you need the proper funding, you need the proper facilities. Technology is changing very, very rapidly.
The equipment we have to purchase in order to collect and process the blood, the tests that we have to perform, all cost money.
There's no reason that New Jersey can't have state-of-the-art technology. It just takes money.
This is a not-for-profit organization. This is an organization that has to sustain itself. It gets no government support. The only support we get is from the community and from people like you.
People who donate blood are very special people because they donate to people like me that they don't even know.
Words can't express the gratitude that somebody like me feels, and that my son will grow to understand and feel, and my husband feels, and my daughter feels, when we see what people give so selflessly.
You don't realize it until you need it, you know, until it's you.
And I appreciate from the bottom of my heart, really, that they're willing to do that. Otherwise, I'd be sitting here in front of you today in front of a wheelchair.
Whether it's your time or your money or your blood or your cord blood or anything that you can give to help an organization like Community Blood Services, it's something that as a parent and as a person, I can only say thank you, thank you, thank you.